Are you afraid that socialization will change who you are? Stay tuned as we dive into this important topic. Welcome to Cheap Talk, the podcast where we unpack life's little complexities. Today we're diving into something pretty intriguing: socialization. It's a word that seems to get a bad rap these days, right?
Totally. I mean, when you see a post about fearing highly socialized people, you kind of immediately get it. It conjures up images of like master manipulators, right? People who know every social loophole, totally self-serving.
Exactly. It's like socialization has become synonymous with being fake, which, who wants that?
Nobody. But the thing is, socialization, like inherently, isn't bad. It's how we learn to function, how we pick up language, skills,
Right,
norms.
it's how we go from a screaming baby to a functioning adult who can, order food and pay bills. It's kind of crucial.
So, what are we actually pushing back against when we resist socialization? I think the input text nails it with the three examples, right? The exquisitely selfish, the smooth operators, and what was it?
The mundane personalities. People who seem to have just accepted the monotony of life. No introspection, no exploration.
Right. And it makes sense why we'd reject those traits. No one wants to be backstabbed by a refined egoist or feel like they're being two-faced by a social chameleon or just like become boring.
Totally. But the text also makes a great point. Socialization is about growth. It's how we develop social cognition, understanding nuanced social cues.
Oh, yeah, like realizing a furrowed brow doesn't automatically mean someone hates you. There could be many reasons. It's about developing social affect too, right? Like responding appropriately to a friend's distress.
Yeah. Instead of blaming them for a family argument, a more socially developed person would offer comfort, maybe help them process the situation. And then there's social behavior, how we actually act on these understandings.
So it's not about being manipulative, but about navigating social situations effectively. In the workplace, for example, sometimes it's not about pushing your best solution, but collaborating to find what works.
Totally. It's about having those softer skills like communication and teamwork, which, let's be honest, can make or break your career. Like that anecdote in the text about the colleague who missed the networking event. Ouch.
Right? She missed a huge opportunity because she shunned fake socializing, but networking is part of it. It's not always fake, it's building connections.
Exactly. And it's not about losing yourself either. The text argues that socialization actually helps us find ourselves.
Yeah? How so?
Well, think of Mead's I and me. The I reacts to the world, and the me is how others perceive us. Through interaction, we develop self-awareness. It's like looking in a mirror, as Cooley suggested.
So, by interacting with the world, we see reflections of ourselves and understand who we are. That makes sense. And our values, our edges, are also shaped by these interactions, right?
Right? And it's not like we become blank slates, like Locke suggested. The input content cites research that shows our values, once formed, remain relatively stable even if our environment changes.
That's reassuring. So, it's not about becoming a social robot. It's about gaining the tools to navigate the world, understand ourselves, and still hold on to our core values. If you're enjoying this insightful chat, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really supports the podcast. So the wrap up, maybe socialization isn't the enemy after all?
So like we were saying, socialization gets a bad rap, but this idea of breeding exquisitely selfish people, like the input mentions, that's not really socialization's fault, is it?
No, I don't think so. It's more like a distortion of it, right? Like focusing solely on personal gain without considering the impact on others. True socialization involves understanding social cues, and that includes empathy and cooperation.
Exactly. And this over-socialized idea where everyone's just a smooth operator manipulating their way through life, the input cites a study about that from way back in '63 by, Wrong?
Dennis Wrong. Yeah, he argued against this idea that sociology portrays people as overly conforming, like just absorbing societal norms without any pushback. And come on, people have their own thoughts and values.
For sure. The input also uses the phrase mundane personalities, like people who just go through the motions without really engaging with life. That's not socialization. That's like the opposite of growth.
It's almost like social stagnation, right? You're not using the tools socialization gives you to explore and grow. If you're finding this chat as fascinating as we are, remember to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. So where were we? Oh yeah, social cognition, affect, and behavior.
Right. So, social cognition is about understanding those subtle cues, like body language or tone of voice. It's like reading between the lines, right?
Yeah, totally. Like understanding sarcasm or knowing when someone's joking, it's about perspective taking too, putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Uh huh. Then there's social affect, which is like how we respond emotionally to social situations. It's about having appropriate emotional responses.
Right, like not laughing at a funeral or not getting overly excited when someone shares bad news. It's about emotional intelligence.
Totally. And then social behavior is how we actually act on these understandings. It's about putting it all together.
It's like having the knowledge and the emotional understanding and then actually using them effectively. It's like the colleague in that anecdote, the one who skipped the networking event.
Oh, yeah, because it felt fake. But she missed out on valuable connections, and it's a great way to expand your network, as the input suggests.
Exactly. And the input also talks about finding ourselves through socialization. That sounds kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it? Like, how does interacting with others help us understand ourselves better?
Well, think about it like this. Every interaction is a chance to see yourself reflected in other people's reactions. It's like getting feedback, right? It helps you refine your sense of self, kind of like Mead's I and me or Cooley's looking glass self.
Right. And our values are shaped by these interactions too, aren't they? But the input cites research suggesting our core values stay pretty consistent even if our environment changes.
Yeah, it's not like we're completely molded by our surroundings. It's more like we bring our own clay to the pottery wheel, and socialization helps us shape it. It's a dynamic process.
That's a great analogy. So it's about finding a balance, right, between adapting to social situations and staying true to ourselves. It's about growth, not conformity, and definitely not about becoming a refined egoist. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Cheap Talk.
So, we've been talking about socialization and how it sometimes gets a bad rap. This study, Personality Traits and Living Arrangements in Young Adulthood, adds another layer to the conversation. It really dives into how our living situations, like living alone versus with roommates or family, can influence our personality development. It's fascinating.
Yeah? So, like, does living alone make you more introverted or something?
Well, not exactly. It's more nuanced than that. The study looks at selection effects, meaning people choose living situations that align with their existing personalities. So, someone who's already introverted might choose to live alone. But then there are socialization effects, where the living situation itself shapes personality. It's a two-way street.
Oh, I see. So it's not just one or the other, it's both. That makes sense. Like if you're living with a bunch of extroverted roommates, you might become more outgoing yourself, even if you weren't initially.
Exactly. And the study specifically looks at young adulthood, which is a key period for personality development. It's a time of so much change. You're figuring out who you are, what you value, and your living situation can play a big role in that. If you're enjoying this deep dive, by the way, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps the podcast grow. So, yeah, this study,
Yeah, tell me more. Does it like specify which personality traits are most affected by live-in arrangements?
well, it focuses on the big five personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism.
Right, right. The classic five. So which ones were most influenced by, say, living alone versus with others?
It's tricky. The study found complex interactions. Like for extroversion, living alone could decrease it, but it really depended on other factors like social support. If someone living alone has a strong social network, they might not become less extroverted.
That's interesting. So it's not a simple cause and effect relationship. It's all interconnected, right?
Totally. It highlights the dynamic interplay between our individual choices, like where we choose to live, and the social forces that shape us. It's a bit like imagine a plant. It has its inherent genetic makeup, but the environment, the soil, the sunlight also influences how it grows. It emphasizes the importance of personal agency alongside social factors, right? Exactly. And it's a reminder that socialization isn't just about conforming.
It's about how we actively engage with our environment, including our living situation, to shape our own development.
Hmm. Mhm.
That's a great takeaway. So it's not just about nature or nurture, it's about how they work together, constantly influencing each other. This has been a really enlightening conversation. Thanks for joining us on Cheap Talk, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We love hearing from you. And a special thanks to all our listeners around the world. We appreciate your support. We'll catch you next time.